Hey guys, welcome to season 2, episode 1 of Down in the Bayou. We have a new season, and I'm so excited to kick this podcast off with my report back from Summer League. I just got back from NBA 2K26 Summer League in Las Vegas, and I had a blast watching our prospects, which we'll get into later for the New Orleans Pelicans, and just running into some of my favorite players. Um, it was just an amazing experience, and I can't wait to share everything with you. My thoughts, breakdown of how these rookies are going to fit into the New Orleans Pelicans, and just the overall experience. So maybe next summer I can run into some of y'all there as well. Um, yeah, so this is a new season on Down in the Bayou, and I'm just going to be covering the New Orleans Pelicans all season long, every week, and I can't wait for this next season. I'm super optimistic, more than more than my cohorts and friends inside the Pelicans fan base, but I have a lot of positive thoughts about this team and the direction that they can go, and it all boils down to you know what, health. But let's go ahead and get started with my experience in NBA Summer League this past summer. It was my first one I've ever been to. I was super excited, and I got to see two lottery picks, Jeremiah Fears and Derik Queen, who I wanted to draft one or the other, if you recall in my episode about 3 months ago, and we ended up getting both. So as you can tell, I was over the moon about that because I believe in these two guys and their game and how they can fit in with our squad. Even got my repping Mr. Fears, no Fears himself, repping him, and I can't wait to watch him ball out this season. But before we do talk about those two guys, I want to get into my experience as a whole. So if you don't know, I'm a collector on this NBA NFT project called NBA TopShot, where you can buy and own highlights from your favorite players and climb the leaderboards with your favorite players, like Zion, Jordan Hawkins for me, Anthony Davis. These three guys, I love watching them play. I'm a super fan of, so I collect all of their moments. And with that being said, that community is really tight in the NFT community, and they often hold events in real NBA games, events like Summer League, and a lot of us met up there. So through that, I got to meet someone really cool, and I'll go ahead and pull that up here. So I got to meet Mr. Ty Jerome, who is the new member of the Memphis Grizzlies. Super cool guy. It was an awesome experience. I met him through NBA TopShot. I personally think he's going to get sixth man of the year this upcoming NBA season. So this is at Las Vegas Shoot 360. I got to play some pickup games and meet Ty Jerome through the NBA TopShot community, and it was so dope. He's much bigger in person, obviously. So I'm about 6 foot even, and he surprised me because on TV he doesn't look that tall, but yeah, really cool guy, and it was awesome meeting him. And if you don't know, I'm also this is not a Grizzlies podcast, I promise, but I'm also a huge fan of Zach Edey. I'm the #1 collector on NBA TopShot for him as well, and I got to meet him and take a cool little picture with him. Just his frame, he's so massive. Pause. He's insanely big for also how he looks on TV. On TV, you're like, oh, he's just 7'3", but when you meet him in person, he just towers over people. Really cool guy. I got to show him his NFT that I own, which is his first NBA basket. I own the #1 serial. He played against the Utah Jazz his opening night, got 5 and 5. It was an and one. I got to show him, and he lit up. He was like, "This is really cool." So that was a really cool experience that I got to meet Zach Edey, one of my favorite rookies from last year, who I think is primed for a huge year next year. Also, I got to meet another rookie that I am a big collector on NBA TopShot, and I'm very, very high on. I think he will be an all-star. in about 2 or 3 years. And I think he's the best player on the Washington Wizards young core, and that is Mr. Keyshawn George. Now, a little bit of backstory. So, this is the merch that you can buy at the kiosk in the NBA Summer League, in the arena. And they have these really cool hats, so like the scripts. So yeah, I'll buy one, whatever. If I see a player I really like, ask for their autograph. So I collect, moments and stuff. And I got to see Keyshawn George play. He's a sophomore in Washington. One of the best, if not the best, two-way player in that class. And he balled out that game. Absolutely balled out. I think this was on Saturday night. He was the last game versus the Trailblazers. He got like 30-something points, almost a triple-double. And it was like the last game of the night. So my wife and I, we're really tired. We're going to go back to the hotel. So we go to the rideshare area outside of Thomas and Mack. And, it's like there's like 10 people outside because it was the last game. Everybody wanted to see Hanson Young play after he scored. They all left. So it was like me, my wife, and like 12 other people like waiting for a ride. And then out of nowhere, just walking across, big afro, 6'7", ice bags on his knees, still in his Washington Wizards Summer League uniform. Who else? Keyshawn George. I'm a massive fan. And I just couldn't believe it. It's kind of like a twist of fate. He just walked right past, and my wife was like, you have to meet him. Like, you've been collecting his moments and you're a big fan of his game. And I was like, yeah, I have to. So, I didn't want to bother him, but he was also waiting for his ride. No one was kind of noticing, which I was super shocked about. So I went over there and I was like, hey, Keyshawn, like, I don't mean to bother you, man, but I'm a huge fan. And I collect you on this NFT thing called NBA TopShot. I'm your #1 collector. And I actually own the #1 cereal of your first basket against the Boston Celtics. And, he's like, what is that? That's awesome. So I got to show him his #1 debut, his first points in the NBA. And, and he was like, also like Edie, like, he's like smiling ear to ear. Like, this is so dope. Like, I've never seen this before. I was like, yeah, man, like you're an amazing player. And I love collecting you on NBA TopShot, and I love watching your game. And, he's like, oh, thank you, man, dapped up. And I was like, hey, like, do you mind? Like, I don't mean to keep you. Do you mind if you sign my hat? And he's like, yeah, of course. So I got an autograph from Keyshawn George. It was really cool. I think I have it here. Yeah. It was a really, really cool moment. This and the Edie moment was one of the top for sure. Just because I collected them all year this past season on NBA TopShot, and I defended their game countless times to my friends. Yeah, so I think I have a video of Keyshawn draining a 3. Let me see. 1 second. Yeah, so this is Keyshawn George coming off the peel and just nailing a 3. And yeah, that was the game that I watched before I got his autograph. A little bit about Keyshawn George. He's after the Kyle Kuzma trade, he just popped off, and I knew who he was. I watched him at Miami. Like, his prototype is, for me, it's like a kind of a mix of Kawhi and Aaron Gordon. Like, if you kind of molded those two young players together. His playmaking is super underrated. His shot is pure water. He can get to the rim, just a tenacious defender, and I do think he has all-star material. And obviously he's working on his game because he absolutely killed Summer League. He is like captain of the Too Good for Summer League. Yeah, so that's just some cool experiences that I got to see and live in this NBA Summer League. And I highly advise that if you can, go to NBA Summer League. Watch your team, watch your young stars before they're stars. It was an amazing experience, cool people, and there's 2 gyms that you can cross through. Like the Thomas and Mack is a pretty big one. It's for the marquee games. Like I saw Bronny James versus Cooper Flagg, Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey, Jeremiah Fears. Like we'll get to in a second. Most of their games were in the Thomas and Mack, which you gotta get in a good seat, but you're still really close because there's not a lot of people there. But you can go to the concourse, and it's connected inside the arena to the sister gym, which is the Cox or the not Cox, the Pavilion. Yeah, the Pavilion, and it's super intimate. Like you're very close to everybody. Like, and those games are super fun because they're really intense. Because you're so close. But yeah, just basketball all day, hoops all day, hoop heads everywhere, famous people walking around, like NBA players after the game walking through the arena. I saw like Josiah Johnson from the Gills Arena, just walking around. Like it was super dope. If you have a chance, go to NBA Summer League. If you just want to support your team or you just want to see the young stars for their stars or just have a good time, take your family, whatever. It's family friendly. Great experience. So before we talk about the New Orleans Pelicans, I have to say that I was super impressed with both of our rookies. And we're going to go ahead and dive in real quick. So we picked Jeremiah Fears, and I have to show y'all a picture real quick. 1 second. So this was their first game against the Los Angeles Lakers. And oh no, it was Minnesota Timberwolves. This is their first game, Minnesota Timberwolves versus Rob Dillingham. And I got this cool shot. I got pretty good seats. You know, Jeremiah Fears there, number 0, point guard from Oklahoma, and Derik Queen, 6'10" power forward from Maryland, number 22. So yeah, it's just I got a really cool shot of the two rookies, you know, getting together for their first summer league game, and I was super impressed. But I want to really hone in and start with Jeremiah Fears, our lottery pick at 7. And I want to show y'all this picture really fast. So take a look here. This just stood out to me. So I just snapped this real quick. He is a natural born leader, and you can tell right away. He just stands out. He's one of those people where I don't think, like, he's just born to be a leader. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no questions about it. Like, you know who he is. And he knows who he is. And it was very apparent. He's a dog. Back down from nobody every single summer league game. Even though he struggled the first 2, he didn't care. he was not down on himself. He played even harder and harder. And this is exactly what the New Orleans Pelicans need. We need a young leader to be the face of the franchise. Super high on Zion, obviously. I think he's one of the best, if not the best, player on the court when he plays. But he's not a vocal guy. He's not a rah-rah, and he'll never be. And he doesn't have to be. Unfortunately, that has kind of fallen on Jose's shoulders throughout the past 2 or 3 years. He's having to be the vocal guy. And if Jose is your vocal leader, then that's not what you want. Love Jose, but it has to come from a marquee franchise guy. And I think Trey Murphy can assume those responsibilities later on, but you know, usually typically it has to come from your point guard. You need a floor general who's just confident and takes over games and knows his game and doesn't play outside of his game. And I think that's exactly who Jeremiah Fears is. And as you can see from this picture, like, it's just, I don't know, I don't want to say like aura, like the kids say, but he does have a certain just way about him that people kind of gravitate towards him on and off the court. He's just cerebral. That's a word that comes to mind, an adjective. And I actually captured his first bucket. So play it here. So step back 3. Yeah, just pure water. He struggled this game a little bit, but in the first, he was super aggressive. And then later on, you'll see a clip of Derik Queen, nice dime to Hunter Dickinson. But Jeremiah Fears, like, the dude is just, like I said, he's just confident. And there's 2 players that come to mind when I watch him play. And that is Tyrese Maxey and Devin Booker. And he's not exactly like one of these 2. He's kind of a remix of both. So the Tyrese Maxey, I see a lot when he drives. You know, his dribble combo, he likes to go kind of crossover, tween, and he loves to go behind the back and then switch back to the right. And he can go left. He's super aggressive and super just tenacious when he gets to the paint. And that's exactly what the New Orleans Pelicans need. Jeremiah Fears is a paint toucher. He can make things happen when he's inside the paint. He's only 6'3", but he's strong and he's fearless. It's on brand. It's in his name. No fears. Zero fears. And we have been missing this since Lonzo Ball, Drew Holiday. We have not had a point guard who is the face of the franchise, cerebral, vocal leader, and just can take over games as your PG1. And that's why Joe Dumars picked Jeremiah Fears, and it was apparent. He struggled the first 2 or 3 games, and then those last 2 games, the Pacers, the Thunder, even that Blazers game, man, he was just dog. He would just fly 94 feet, get to the paint, dunk, get to the paint, rim, and one. His shot needs a little bit of work, but the mechanics are there. That's why I say Devin Booker. He's not like Devin Booker. But when he pulls up, his shot mechanics are a lot like D-Book. And I like that because that means that he already has the foundation to be a good shooter and a good mid-range shooter. He just has to keep working on his game. He's only 18. He's second youngest in the draft behind Cooper Flagg in the lottery. And I think he can make an instant impact. He can off the bench because he's going to take Jose's spot. It's going to happen. And I'm high on Hawk. I think Hawk's going to have a breakout year this third year. And him and Hawk, I really like that pairing in the backcourt. And it all falls down to, is Willie going to give Jeremiah Fears the opportunity and the leash to make mistakes? Because our starting 5, I'll take it over anybody. Jordan Poole, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, Zion, and probably, I would say, Looney. So these 5, you still got to solve the DeJounte problem, but that's kind of in the back of my mind right now because I don't see how he can come back. And we'll get into that maybe later on down the season when we get some more information. But I love the Jordan Poole signing, the trade. I love that for us. He's a shot creator and one-type basketball, exciting. He is who fits. It's not really DeJounte. We needed a flashy playmaker like Jordan Poole. We need that. That's guys like Trey and Zion really feed off of a player like that. That's why I was so sad when we got rid of Lonzo because, he was kind of that, but Jordan Poole's got more scoring ability, less defense, obviously, but more scoring ability. And I think he's a nice upgrade from CJ. He can handle the ball. He can dish the rock. Great addition. And I love that he's there. So Jeremiah Fears can actually kind of go with Jordan Poole, learn a lot of stuff. Jordan Poole's an NBA champion. Can't forget that. And I love that possible mentorship between Jordan Poole and Jeremiah Fears because they have flashes of the same type of skill sets. And he could really, really pull Jeremiah Fears up into that upper echelon of rookies and learn from him and work with him every day. Because Jordan Poole is a gym rat, and so is Jeremiah Fears. They'll be in the gym together a lot. And, yeah, I think Jeremiah Fears has Rookie of the Year potential. It all just comes down to, is Willie Green going to play him or not? Which I think he kind of has to. Jeremiah Fears, super high on him. Can't wait to see him ball out. He really picked it up, started to figure things out towards the end, and his defense is underrated. He's really, really good with his hands. Pause. So that's Jeremiah Fears. Super high on him. I think we, as Pelicans fans, we have a lot to be optimistic about. I'm not here to talk about how our season's going to go. I'll do that in a later episode. I just want to focus on these 2 rookies. And Jeremiah Fears, done. Case closed. Love the pick. Now, the controversial one, we're going to go to Derik Queen. Okay? Everybody knows the trade. I was okay with it because, listen, let me recap our last season for you. We tank. We are 14th in the West. And we are 4th in lottery odds. So we tank, whatever. We're bad. Okay? We fall to 7th. that shows you nothing's guaranteed in the lottery. You can have a bad season, you can suck all you want, but if you, like Joe Dumars, for instance, he knows he wants Derik Queen. He is a Joe Dumars top guy, and he knew he wanted him, and I love the pick. So why not just do it? Yeah, it looks bad, whatever. We traded a first unprotected pick, but who's to say you're going to suck and even fall in the top 3 next year? You could be last, and you could still fall to 5th or whatever, or 3rd or something. Like, if you have your guy and you know that's who you want, and Derik Queen would go top 5 next year if he stayed. Like, why not just get him? So I'm cool with it. So let's get that out of the way first. Now let's go to Derik Queen's Summer League performance. Again, struggle a little bit like Jeremiah Fears as expected, but man, that Blazers game versus Hanson Young, Derik Queen exploded. I mean, he had a double-double in every single Summer League game. Every single Summer League game, he got a double-double. And he was just getting to the paint at will. And, you know, he still has some work on defense to slide the feet laterally. Like, that'll come, whatever. But seeing him in person, he's way slimmer than you think. He's way slimmer. He's more cut up. He's more fit. And, man, he is a coast-to-coast player. And who's going to benefit from that? Zion Williamson. Okay? Eventually, Derik Queen will play the 5 with Zion. Next year, whatever. And I'm sure Willie would tinker with lineups once Derik Queen's back. But, man, the underrated part about Derik Queen is his playmaking ability. He's the best passing big man in this class. And he put it on display in that first game. I'll show you again. So we're going to see that 3 from Jeremiah Fears is beautiful. Now, look at this. You know, Derik Queen, he has the ability to get a paint touch. And look at that behind the back pass, like easy. He had like tens of those during the Summer League. Tens of them. Amazing playmaking passes. And his footwork is impeccable. He can body up bigger guys. He can score. He can hook. His mid-range looks great. His three-point, like that was the thing that I was like, let me see. I really want to see it. And he really didn't want to shoot it the first 2 games. And then he started letting it fly that 3rd and 4th game. And man, he was hitting them. Like, his shot mechanics look good. Joe Dumars, I love the pick. Don't listen to haters. I think we A+ 100% killed this draft. Jeremiah Fears, Derik Queen couldn't have gone better for us in terms of fit, upside, this excitement for the fan base, because God knows we need it. Like, I loved watching them play, and I see a lot of potential in these two. And I really think the Pelicans are due for a really good year. And I personally think that we will make top 6, and we will get into the playoffs. It all depends on Zion, and it always has. But these 2 rookies are going to contribute. And we'll see Jeremiah Fears more than Derik Queen, I think, at the beginning, but Derik Queen's going to really steal the show, I think, the last half of the year, because he's going to be needed more because our bigs aren't the best. Whereas Jeremiah Fears, you know, he still has to beat out Jose. So, like, maybe at the beginning of the year, it'll be a little choppy, but I think once he does beat out Jose and he's solidified his role as that coming off the bench point guard leading that unit, I think he's going to flourish, and the whole world is just going to be like, what the hell? It's going to be like a Stephon Castle thing where at the beginning people are like, yeah, Stephon Castle, cool, nice. But after 3 months, 4 months, when Castle started figured out his role, he popped and got Rookie of the Year. And I see the similar path for Jeremiah Fears this season. But yeah, overall, NBA 2K26 Summer League, amazing experience in Las Vegas. If you haven't gone to one, go. You'll love it. Hoops all day. Vegas is a cool city, and you get to see your favorite players before they're stars. Yeah. So, guys, thank y'all so much for watching the first episode of Season 2 of Down in the Bayou. I'm BayouSniper, and I can't wait to see y'all in the next one. And my NBA TopShot people that watch this, look out for the giveaway. I'm going to post it on X. I'm going to give away a Ty Jerome TopShot debut moment. So, guys, thank y'all so much. I'll see y'all next